What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my MMA contenders, my favorites, my top 5 plays for this Saturday's UFC card. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comments section, who are your favorite plays for this Saturday's card? On the outside looking in to my top 5, Brandon Royval, Kyle Daukaus, Paul Craig, the clown, if anybody has seen the weigh-ins, I'm recording this just after the weigh-ins, Mike Perry coming in number 7, and Louis Kosei coming in number 6, just a bit too expensive for me at 9,300. I think there are some better options at slightly lower salary. So he is on the outside looking in. Who are my top 5 plays for this card? It's time to find out. Coming in at number 5, 8,900. It's everybody's fan favorite of the moment, Joaquin Buckley, owner of a vicious and probably the best knockout of 2020. He's 8,900, 82.1 fantasy point projection, wins this fight 69% of the time, which is clearly nice, and shows up in the optimal 38% of the time. If you're looking to pair him with other fighters, Figueiredo, Shevchenko, and Alex Perez are the 3 most frequent pairings in an optimal lineup with Buckley. Now, you're probably not going to Figueiredo and Perez, although I think it's viable given the way that this card is set up, given what would happen in a Perez loss. I think that's viable, but what you're hoping for here is Buckley just turning his lights off. That's why you roster someone like Buckley. Luckily for you, you can get his knockout ability at 8,900 instead of a couple $100 more into that low to mid 9 range. I love it, and that's enough to put Buckley at number 5. Now at number 4, this one's gonna seem super duper weird, but I think because of the price tag, she's a fantastic value. 6,600 for Jennifer Maia. Now, Maia enters coming off of the win against Joanne Calderwood, a fight that Calderwood probably shouldn't have taken. This would have been her title fight. Instead, Maia cuts the line. Projected for 53.6 fantasy points. She only wins this fight 10% of the time. She is a massive, massive underdog. But look at those sim results. Even if she only wins 10% of the time, Maia shows up in the optimal lineup 40% of the time. She is a conduit to rostering more likely fighters. If you're not spending that extra couple $100, that means you're going from an $8,100 fighter to, say, an $8,600 fighter. The likelihood of victory is significantly higher, and that's enough to push Maia into these optimal lineups. So if you want to go to Maia, I like it. I have her ranked number 4. I took a look at our MMA Pro plays. That's behind the paywall at Awesemo.com. Go to Awesemo.com/join if you want to check it out. Just to give a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, Alex Awesemo Baker also has Maia ranked 4th. Steve Buzzard, aka DeColts, also has Maia ranked 4th. It doesn't seem likely, and she doesn't win this fight all that frequently, but I think you should be looking at Jennifer Maia if you're looking to take down a GPP. Now, coming in at number 3, the other side of the underdogs in the main event, that would be Alex Perez, 7,200, 65.4 fantasy point projection. Perez has only lost once in the past, 4.5 years, 5 years, something in that neighborhood, and that's to Joe B. So you can't exactly be mad about that one. Coming in on a 3-fight win streak, took out Maia in mid-June off the top of my head. I don't want to check it right now. I believe it was mid-June, something in that neighborhood. Every day is the same during COVID times. Perez wins this fight 29% of the time. He is significantly more likely to win this fight than Jennifer Maia. Shows up in the optimal 48% of the time. That's half the time. Or, just about half the time. Pairs well with Shevchenko. Pairs well with Buckley. I think if you want to pay up for both of those guys, or one guy, one girl, apologies, I think Perez is the perfect fit if you're trying to get away from Figueiredo. I like this fight for Perez. I've seen a lot of chatter that Perez is live in this fight, and I agree. I'm going to have my fair share of Perez. If I don't have enough money to go to Perez, I'm perfectly fine dropping down to Maia. But for right now, I have to prefer Perez slightly more than Maia if I'm looking to up my I'm going to be happy level. Coming in at number 3, we're going to the other underdog in the two main events, that would be Alex Perez. Perez is 7,200, so $600 more expensive than Maia, but I think that's probably worth it. 29% chance of picking up the W here, 48% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Perez is just more likely to win the fight. Now, he's only lost one fight since like the middle of 2016, and that's to Joseph Benavidez. He's won 3 straight, took out Jussier Formiga in like mid-June, and things are looking really good. I've seen a lot of chatter of people that think that Alex Perez can win this fight. I don't think it's crazy. 30% win likelihood, that seems about right to me. People should be on Perez. I think he looks like a fantastic underdog option. You get the additional 2, potentially get the additional 2 rounds. That makes me more than okay with spending $7,200 on Perez. You can pair him up nicely with Shevchenko and Buckley, and with Buckley's price being only $8,900, that is not something you have to worry about. I'm going to Alex Perez slightly more often than Maia, but if I need to free up that space, that's when you drop down to Maia. If you have that extra $600, by all means, go ahead and get yourself some Alex Perez. Now at number 2, you're going to have to pay heavy freight, $9,600 for Valentina Shevchenko. Projected for 108.2 fantasy points. She wins this fight 90% of the time. For her to lose to Jennifer Maia, it's going to be a massive update. Shevchenko is so good. She shows up in the optimal lineup 63% of the time. The likelihood of her going north of 100 fantasy points is massive. If you can pair her with Figueiredo, with Mike Perry, unfortunately, just because of his price, I think that's a direction you want to go. Those pieces fit together pretty well from a salary perspective. She's incredible. And this, I don't believe, is the spot that she loses her title. She's going to be on to bigger and better things. I expect her to run through Jennifer Maia. Now, that doesn't mean that Maia is a bad play. What we're trying to do is win a contest, not necessarily predict a fight. And Shevchenko does it so frequently, and the way that she fights with so much volume, with so much force, with the ability to just run through people. That's why you see her with a 90% chance to win. That's why she shows up in an optimal lineup 63% of the time. 37% of the time she's not in it. That's not a very high number at all. The problem is the price. $9,600 is a lot, and the easiest way to save salary on this slate is to play Jennifer Maia, who you're obviously like not stacking all that much. Cash, maybe. GPPs, probably not. So I do like the Shevchenko-Alex Perez combo if you're trying to build out 2 picks from that main event. I guess you guys can assume who is my number 1. Shevchenko, number 2. And at the top of the heap, as if it's any surprise, number 1, Deiveson Figueiredo, 9K. And that's honestly the biggest reason. 105.7 fantasy point projection, really close to Shevchenko. Wins this fight 71% of the time. Shows up in the optimal 65% of the time. It's hard to go a different direction. Winner of 4 straight, the current champ. I expect him to move forward. He's got absolute dynamite in his fists. If you can pair him with Shevchenko, great. Might be tough. An excellent pairing with Joaquin Buckley and Jennifer Maia if you're looking to save that salary, get a couple bigger hitters into your lineup. 65% to be in the optimal lineup is a massive number. This is a very different card from a lineup construction perspective. It's rare to see 2 people at the top with such high odds of being in the optimal lineup. Now, it's pretty close to a coin flip that one of Figueiredo and Shevchenko aren't in the optimal lineup. Keep that in mind. Just from a math perspective, it becomes pretty tough when one person is 9,600 and the other is 9K. But you can get there, and that's obviously why you see Shevchenko as the most likely pairing with Figueiredo, because they are more likely to win than any other combo, and winning is what gets you into an optimal lineup, generally speaking. It's the 6th person in that can really come out of nowhere and have no tie to the card. I don't really see any other way that Figueiredo is the number 1 option. I expect him to be the number 1 option clear across the board in our MMA pro plays, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Right now, I expect to hear "and still" when this fight is over. And that's why I'll have Figueiredo as one of my most exposed fighters this Saturday. There you have it, everybody. Those are my favorites, my top 5 plays for Saturday's card. One last time, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live, and follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. That's the way that you can get the updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. You never know what's going to happen. People are dropping off of cards like flies, and if we lose a fight by tomorrow, everything changes. The way that these pieces fit together are different. So you'll want to get those updates. Follow me on Twitter for it. And let me know in the comment section who you like. Are either one of these champions losing? Let me know in the comments. Good luck this Saturday. Keep your eyes peeled for a FanDuel video if you're playing there. There should be a link somewhere around here. And I will talk to you again next Saturday because these things are coming every week.